Oh my word! 5 building blocks of life. What's this? Starting with something. What am I starting with? Why am I looking at this? All right, what's this about? Life is based on complex chemistry. The only available elements participate in most life-supporting reactions on Earth: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And the most characteristic element is carbon. Carbon's a slut. Carbon loves sleeping with other elements. And then there's this whole article about carbon. Okay, this whole thing about it, and I know how to read that thanks to Answers in Atheism. So I know how to read this. So yeah, okay, cool. But why am I starting with that? Well, you'll see in a moment. Hold on, wait, I've got more. Okay, um, here's carbon. Just carbon chilling out. Carbon, yeah, check it out. Carbon. All right, and even I'll toss up Answers in Genesis, which is a terrible website. But they're like, yeah, carbon is God's building block for life. So, it's like Lego, and they're kind of wrong about that, but whatever. And they're like, okay, here's a whole bunch of stuff about carbon. I'm no scientist, but some of this looks correct. I'm going to pour doubt upon it because it's Answers in Genesis. But yeah, it seems pretty correct on carbon being needed for life. So yeah, that seems pretty straightforward to me. So yeah, I'm starting with all that information. We'll find out why in a second. Here we go. So here's a guy. Let's talk Bible with um, with this 6 beliefs refuted by the fact that God exists. Well, the problem is you're going to have to demonstrate that God exists first before you can do anything with that. So you would need to establish that God's a thing first. So none of these things can be things.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Bible, my YouTube channel. I just want a few minutes of your time so we can talk about this PDF chart, 6 beliefs refuted by the fact that God exists. And yes, it is a fact that God exists. I can prove to you that God exists.
Okay, go ahead and prove it then.
And so the question is then, therefore, I can prove God exists, but how can I prove to you that God has communicated to us and that the Word, the Bible, is how God communicates to mankind today?
It's a good question. I expect you to do both of those things. Prove God exists and then prove that it communicated through the Judeo-Christian texts. Go ahead. I'll wait.
So the thing is this, life comes from life.
Okay, now, remember those things I shared at the beginning that talked about carbon? Is carbon alive? I mean, is it? Is carbon alive? Is carbon alive? Let's see. Without carbon, there'd be no life at all. Okay. Yeah, and but it's not alive because it's just an atom, right? So, but it's not. If it's not alive, then it's not life. And then you can't get life from that, according to this nitwit. So which is it? Is it that life comes from carbon ultimately, or that life comes from life, which is not supported anywhere at all? Not even Answers in Genesis seems to say that. So is this guy completely wrong? Yes, he is. Okay, there you go. That's it. That's all I have to do. Yeah, I don't have to do the rest of the video. So life comes from non-life. Good game. I'm not. Wait. No. I don't want to. No, I don't need to do anything else, right? I don't need to keep playing the. Why? No. Wait. No.
A dead being cannot produce life. You cannot get a dead woman pregnant. A woman who is dead cannot conceive seed in her womb. A rock.
Okay, I kind of want to look up if you can do that. Like, can a dead woman become pregnant? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. This is a brain dead pregnant woman. Yeah, that can happen. let's see, coffin birth, also known as postmodern fetal extrusion, is expulsion of non-viable fetus through vaginal opening of a decomposing body. So you can give birth, but it will be like to a dead baby if you're dead. But can you get pregnant when you are dead? Let's see. Let's see. So if you're brain dead, yes, you could do it if you had life support. But like, you're talking like, how dead are you talking? Like immediately after they're dead, or you talking like they've been dead a while? Because you know there seems to be indication on Google that yeah, a dead woman can give birth to at least a dead fetus, and that also a dead woman could become pregnant under the technical definition of what dead is. But you know, um other than that, other than you being wrong on those levels, you haven't shown support that you're right about what you asserted. So we're gonna press F to doubt. But what are you gonna say about a rock?
Rock cannot produce life. Why?
A rock can't produce life. Well, I don't know about that. Depends on what the rock is. Like, you know, like if it's a rock of carbon, and you got another rock with other, it's made of different elements, then under the right conditions, those elements can merge and form life. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be instantaneous. But if you mean like a rock doesn't give birth to life on its like directly, I kind of, but like you're kind of wrong. So I'm gonna put F to doubt again, I guess, because that's all we can do at this point. It's just like, no, you're kind of wrong.
Because it is dead. There's no life. And when I say a rock is dead, I mean that it's not living. A rock has never had life. But the point is that life comes from life, not from...
Life comes from life, except when it doesn't. Carbon, carbon. Remember I showed you the carbon thing?
Non-life. And the fact that life exists today tells us that life existed before us. And
but the earth didn't always exist. So where was life then? If there was no earth, there was no life here because there wasn't an earth. So where was this life then? What the hell? What the bleep are you talking about at that point? Like and like when the earth first was here, there wasn't life on earth like in the first few million years of its existence. It took time for life to emerge. So I don't know where you're getting any of this nonsense. Oh wait, I kind of know where you're getting this nonsense from. Your own ideas, not like, reality. Yeah. So yeah, you're wrong.
The fact that life existed before us tells us that life has always existed.
Life has always existed. No, it hasn't. Also, the universe didn't always exist. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say on that one. The universe as we know it hasn't always existed. And certainly, if you go back far enough in time, there wasn't life. Unless there was life. But then you'd have to demonstrably demonstrate that there was life. And just asserting that life always comes from life isn't a demonstration of it. That's just a circular argumentation. You haven't shown anything. You haven't proven anything. But that's the entire video here that he's doing, is just baseless assertions. But wait a minute. We know, we're smart people. We know he's talking about life being God, right? But God has always been alive. So there is a case where life has never needed life to come into existence. It's just always been there. So there isn't a rule that life always needs life. Life sometimes can just be alive forever because it is, and for no other reason. It came from nowhere. It's just always been. So then if you have an exception to the rule, then you can't have a rule. That's kind of a problem.
There has never been a time that life has not existed. And that is a beautiful...
Yes, there has been lots of time before life existed. Lots and lots of time. But again, I know you're suggesting God is life, right? I get it. But you really should just say that, like, rather than implying it. You said, oh, there's always been God, and that's life. but you would need to demonstrate God, which you haven't done, and you're not going to. So yeah, that's a problem.
Beautiful explanation for the nature of God, the self-existing nature of God, where God has always existed. God is life. God gives life to all things. The Bible says that. And so here's
so that's completely and utterly circular. So there's another fallacy. So he was wrong at the start. Life comes from non-life. Life comes from the carbon required for life. So yeah, absolutely, the building blocks of life. Absolutely not alive. So life is coming from non-life. And then to just assert, well, the Bible says whatever. And then, okay, you need to prove the Bible. You need to prove your God. You need to prove any of this, and you haven't. So you're just wrong about everything. Yeah. There you go. I don't need to do an hour video to say that. I just pointed out he's wrong. I don't need to keep doing the video. I don't need to keep going on his video because I've already proven
six
it.
beliefs refuted by the fact that God exists. Number one,
there's no
God's existence disproves atheism, skepticism, and agnosticism.
No, and no. Like, there would still be atheism, even to some extent, even if you prove God, which you haven't done. Skepticism is not disproven by anything at all, ever. You can't. That's not how what the belief do you think skepticism is, that it can be disproven by God? Even if there's a God, there's still skepticism. There wouldn't be skepticism of God, but there'd still be skepticism. Agnosticism still would be a thing. So no, you don't know what these words mean. Okay, skepticism and agnosticism, the belief a person cannot know whether or not there is a God. No, that would still be a thing, even if you had demonstrable evidence of God. Because there's people that aren't sure that reality is real. So they'd still have that idea about God. They'd be like, well, I don't know if God's real or not because I don't even know if reality is real or not. Now, granted, that's a very few people, but yeah, they totally would exist. So your idea is false in one. What else you got here? Disproves pantheism. Don't really care about pantheism. Polytheism. Don't really care. Materialism. I mean, if God was materialistic, then that wouldn't be disproven. Disproves and destroys humanism. The belief that man himself is the ultimate being in the universe. That's not what humanism is, so that's a straw man. Destroys secularism. The belief that the world and all things of this world is all there is. That's not what secularism is. So you're just wrong about that too. So at every single point in your little chart, you're wrong. There you go. So that's it. That's the video. I don't need to keep going. I'm not going to go for an hour. I'm actually doing a short video for once. Oh my word. It's possible. I can do it. All right. No, seriously, I'm done. I'm not going to play the video again. Unless somebody's like, hey, Deacon Birdman, do the rest of that video. And I'll be like, all right, fine. I'll do the rest of the video. But for now, we're done. Yes. No, really, I am. No, I am. I'm done. Look, I'm putting in Finn in the chat. And that's it. We're done. No, we're done. No, that's it. We're done. Keep thinking I'm going to do the rest of the video. No, I'm not.